Hello, beautiful souls. I'm here today to share a message from the Council of Nine that I just brought through this morning, and I typed it out as it was coming through. So I've put it up here on the screen in case you're someone who likes to read instead of just listening, so that you can read it yourself. And of course, I'll read it aloud in case people are just listening and not looking at the screen. And so this is a message that's helping us in these times that we're in, and explaining the times that we're in and how important it is for us to understand our role in this transformation of the earth, but also very positive news, as the Channel of Nine usually brings through, about what we're going through and what we're moving into, and helping us to realize that as crazy as things look, there really is wonderful things happening in the midst of all this, and the way we respond to this definitely is impacting the outcome that we will see. So let me begin sharing this. And so it is, dear ones, it is our great joy and delight to come before the great pillars of light upon this earth. For you see, dear ones, you who are reading this message, hearing this message, you are the pillars for the new energies to anchor into. You are the pillars of light that allow this great time of change to manifest upon this beautiful planet Earth. And it is our great joy and delight to be before you. In these times of great transition, many, such as this channel, are very tired. Tired because it is a lot of work to be born into a third density reality and live in that density for so many decades, and then do the work of morphing into a new human species. For those who follow, the more recent generations, the work is not so hard, at least not in the physical body, as it is for the front runners. And so it is to those of you who are feeling the fatigue as you integrate yet another blast of energy upon your sacred planet, and you find your physical bodies having to integrate these ever-expanding uploads of energy, that we first commend you for your work. It can be exhausting, and yet we know you would not miss it for anything, for it is what you came here for. You came here to be emissaries of light in times of turmoil. You came here to be channels of Creator light when most of the world seemed lost to the love of the divine. Oh yes, there is much darkness on this planet of free will. There has been much interference, and now what you are seeing changing before your very eyes, although many of you are having trouble believing it, is that your world is changing. We know that part is not hard to see. The change is evident. What we speak of now is what it is changing into. Most of you see the chaos, the hatred that seems to be growing, and it is. Most of you see people struggling and being displaced, and you see the children being abused. All of this is transpiring as your world returns to the light. For you see, beloveds, that which is not of the light must be brought out of the shadows as the light shines brighter on earth. Can you see this? Can you understand why this must be so? Can you see how all this darkness is truly a sign that the light is shining brighter? Indeed, it is so. The reason that all this hatred and darkness is so prevalent in your world right now is because what was for so long hidden behind the dark curtain is now being revealed by the increase of light on your planet. When you shine enough light into a room, the shadows no longer exist. However, what was there is still there, only revealed now in the light that is streaming into the room. Suddenly you can see the cobwebs in the corners and the dust on the table. It was always there, but less visible when there was less light. And so it is in your world right now. What you are seeing and what is coming to light, in quotations, in your media is what has always been there, but hidden from you. We say this so that you can avoid falling into fear when you feel like suddenly there is more hatred, more war, more evil in your world. That is not so. There is now more light that is bringing all of this darkness, quotation, to the light of day, end quote. And they are using these analogies about the use of light in our language so we can connect with how they were used in the past when they became a part of our language, a time when there was a greater understanding in one's daily expression of the power of light. Yes, they say, we want you to see how much you use light in your language, for it is time to return to that understanding. So just to go back to what they said there, that there is not more evil in our world now, it's just that there is more light and it's exposing the darkness. For we ask you, what is the light? What does that mean to you? Let us clarify that you have the great analogy of, in your duality existence, of light and dark, good and evil. The good guys wear white and the bad guys wear black. That is because you have always known that the shadows of darkness are there, the black, and the goodness of light has always been there as well, in a great battle to return the earth to its original intention, to be a planet of love. That was lost long ago, but not forever. You are returning to your light as beings of love. You are returning as you cry out against that evil that has existed on this plane of existence and harm that it has brought about. And so we come before you this day to say that all is well. Oh, you may question that. How can you say all is well? Do you not see what is happening? Of course we see, and we say all is well. The light is winning over the dark. And enough of humanity is waking up to the way of it all to be a force against the evil and darkness that has been ruling this earth for far too long. The love that you awaken within you will be the love that creates a new world. Do you see this, beloveds? Your world needs more love. That is apparent. And that love comes from you, each one of you. The more you can live in this chaos and see love, the more you will see pure love in your world. That is the magic. That is the untold truth. You must be the light you seek. You must find the way to hold a vision in your inner world that is not necessarily a reflection of the vision that you see in the outside world. That is how you make change. That is how you demand a new direction. Change happens because people have a vision. The more they share, the more that vision expands. It starts with one thought that expands in the original thinker. Then they share that thought, and it expands in another. Soon it is gathering momentum as it is shared with more and more. That is what we are here for. We are here to support you in creating the new vision of the new life you want for yourself and all of humanity. We are here to create the new vision for this precious planet and all life that lives upon her. Beloveds, know that you have the power to change it all. You have the power to be at peace with what is. That is a choice you must make. You can get lost in the media that is feeding you fear and lies so that you will stay hypnotized, or you can make the choice to step back into your power as a sovereign human being and find the will of the Creator within yourself and put the force of light back into your veins and proclaim from a state of full empowerment your right to be and do as you choose. Beloveds, many of you are waiting to be rescued, and we say to you, that simply is not going to happen. You came here as empowered beings, and you must show yourselves that you have that power. You must take responsibility for your own life and decide what you will accept. It is time to let go of the fear that has held you back for so long. Courage is required to break out of the old paradigm and dare to be different. Many are doing this. They are giving up the corporate world, realizing that it is a life of slavery. Instead, they are choosing the freedom of living how they choose, doing what they love. And what do they have to give up in order to make that happen? The seeming security of the 9-to-5 job. The imagined dependence on the paycheck. The truth is that most who live that way spend most of the paycheck on things and stuff, trying to find the joy that would come from choosing a simpler life. We say to you that many who choose a simpler life are much, much, much more happy than they were in the corporate world. Yes, you may have to settle on less income, and yet many find that there is such an increased sense of freedom that it feels like gain, not loss. And so we say to you, dearest beloved channels of light on this sacred planet Earth, we love you so. We send encouragement to believe in your dreams, in your desires. Do not dismiss them as impossible. Anything, and we mean pretty much anything, is possible. The only problem is that you are trained to have limited thinking. You are trained to stop yourselves from dreaming big. Look for it within yourself and you will see it. What are your dreams? What would you like to see change in your life? Ask yourself that, and then ask, why aren't you making the change, living the dream? What fear comes up immediately as soon as you have the vision of change? Do you tell yourself that your house is so grand that you couldn't possibly give it up or sell it? Do you tell yourself that the security of your salary is so strong that you wouldn't dare challenge the universe to replace it? What do you convince yourself of, not knowing the expansiveness of the universe? The truth is, life could offer you so much that you would have trouble accepting it. But you cannot see it, and therefore you don't believe in it. You have lost the way of magic. You have lost the faith that life is working for you instead of against you. You have limited your thinking, allowing the mind to control you instead of believing in the inner promptings of the heart. Most of you don't even recognize what your heart wants because you won't allow yourself to accept the change that may be required in following your heart. So we leave you this day and ask you to take these questions into consideration. Do you want change in your life? How is that going to happen if you're not willing to change your way of life? How can you ask for life to change without being willing to change? We want you to know that if you believe it can be so, the universe will support you. But you must believe it. You cannot say, okay, the universe is going to support me in leaving my job and moving into the wilderness and making a living online, while also holding the belief that it won't work. You must be in harmonic resonance within your heart with the faith that you will be looked after. Then it will be so. As we have said, you are creating your reality. So, beloveds, we invite you to begin by believing that your life can be different from what you currently are living. That is the hardest part for most humans to learn in these new energies. You must find the way to believe in something better while still living in the life you are choosing to change. This is the beginning practice. Allow this to be your mantra. Even though my life appears to be limited by lack of money, for example, I know that I am an expanded being, and I now choose to receive great abundance. So just fill in the blank with this mantra. Even though my life appears to be limited by blank, I know that I am an expanded being, and I now choose and receive blank. Do this over and over until you start to believe it is possible. Start noticing where you feel abundant. And know, beloveds, that this word abundant is a conscious choice. It means more than money. It means loving relationships, enough food to eat, enough financial resources to meet your needs, enough personal time for relaxation. All of this comes into a life well lived. It is more than money. It also allows room for riches to come from other sources than just money. Perhaps you have a garden to grow all your produce, thus requiring less money. Perhaps you have friends who help out with household needs. Perhaps you have an older car, but more time to play. And so we leave you now as we offer these light transmissions of understanding the new way of being human on this beloved earth. The changes that are upon you are not going to suddenly disappear as life falls back into the old way of being. That would be fruitless. Instead, you must learn how to navigate these times and find balance and stasis within yourself amidst the change. That is the way of it, and that is the way back to your power as a human. It is within you. Do not give your power to another in any way. Do not pretend to be weak. Give up the feeling of being a victim. You are only a victim if you decide to be so. You do not need to know the way forward and out of victimhood. You only need to be willing to return to a state of empowerment and let your guides and angels know that is what you are choosing. And they will support you in the movement forward into your strength and the knowing that you have all you need to be empowered. You are an empowered human. It is a choice. Choose to see the light of love around you, dear ones. Choose to find your way back to the spark of light that is the divine within you. All is moving toward love in your world. The darkness is being illuminated. Do not get lost in the despair of what is being revealed by the light. Instead, remember that as the shadows are cast out of the room, what is revealed must find its way to the light. As it is illumined, it is no longer dark. We will leave this for your consideration. Know that all the love of the divine is available to you. Remember to ask for our support and the support of your guides. When you ask, all the love of the many realms of existence bow to support you. We love you so. We encourage you to remember your brilliance, and we bow to you for the courage and bravery of being here in these transformative times of evolution upon this, your planet Earth. And so it is. We are the Council of Nine, beloved channels of the Creator of all that is. And so to you, my dear friends, family of light, I will just share a couple of examples of sessions I've done with people where I'm bringing through the Council of Nine and they're showing them this change that their soul is inviting. And it means a lot of change, a lot of transformation. And one person in particular comes to mind where she had a lot of fear because her source of income was going to end, because she was going to be 65 and a particular source of income was going to end. And she had no idea how to replace that, especially at the age that she was. And she also felt very much like she didn't belong in her community. And it's true, it didn't resonate with the truth of who she is. And in our work together, I kept seeing her moving to this new, very artistic community, and she was an artist. And I saw her doing something similar to art therapy. And she was a therapist, but she wasn't trained in art therapy. And she would say to me, I'm not an art therapist, I can't do that. And I was saying, well, just do art with people and just use the skill that you have, and it will be therapy for them anyway. And it took some time for her to really see this vision that was coming through for her soul. And finally, she started exploring this community that she had visited years ago, and it was a very artistic community on the edge of the ocean. And she would go and visit, and she got to know people, and she found a studio that invited her into the possibility of having space in that studio and doing work there. And she finally decided to do it. She just took a huge leap of faith and left where she was, stayed with a friend for a while in this new community. And about 3 months later, she contacted me to say that she had 2 dogs, and she was concerned about moving in with this friend because her friend also had 2 dogs, and she was worried how the dogs would get along. And as it turned out, she was not very happy being with this friend. One of her dogs died, even though it wasn't very old. And she just felt like things were totally falling apart, and I felt very bad. And I said to her, I don't really understand, because this vision was so strong and powerful. And 2 months after that, she wrote me to tell me that things, even though they fell apart in the beginning, everything was falling into place. She found a new place to live. It had a little studio space outside in a little separate building. She had been accepted into the studio, and she was doing art classes, and everything was falling into place. And the reason I share this story after bringing through this channel of message is that very often this is the way of it. The things that we want in our heart, we have trouble believing that it would be possible. And yet when we take the steps toward that, the universe is really ready to support us in these heart promptings that we have. And often when things look like they're going to fall apart, it's because we're not in the experience that we're meant to be in. So I just want to offer that as a little more encouragement for following the heart. But also knowing that the other aspects that are in this message also need to be a part of it, slowly working our way into it and coming into resonance with what we're moving into. And I just want to also say that if you would like more messages from the Council of Nine, my book, The Spiritual Seeker's Guide to Happiness, is below. 350 pages of channelings from the Council of Nine, and I'm also the author of this book, Conversations with a Tree, which is channeling messages from the trees where I was asked to be their scribe. And the links for those are below. So, my dear friends, thank you for being present with this. Please like if you enjoyed this channel, and subscribe. And also, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer from the Channel of Nine, please feel free to put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to share things that will impact others and help other people, help us find our way in these times that can seem so chaotic. And happy to answer questions and channel the Council of Nine in the support of us all in moving in the greatest ways of grace that we can in these times, and just to know that we are doing it. And so thanks to all of you who have been working so hard. I know that there are so many of us there bringing through the beautiful light and love as we so courageously move through these times of great change. So much love to you.